Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our coverage of the Formula A podcast, brought to you by Ryan, Marcus, and Kyle. Let's take it away, boys.
Thank you. I see your suit. You're fitting in well to your F1 commentary job from NFL.
Yeah. Well, in the spirit of American owners and Americanizing F1, there you go. Welcome to the Super Bowl, baby. This is the Super Bowl F1 podcast.
Yeah, although I don't think the Super Bowl's ever been delayed by what was it, an hour or something before we even got a formation lap in?
Yeah. That was rough.
Oh, the Spa flashbacks, man. Holy.
That was scary. I thought we weren't going to get a race for seemingly what looked like, when they started it, it barely looked like there was any water on the track. I thought, this is ridiculous, and they kept waiting, and then it gets raining even harder, and it's like, I don't even think these guys want to race at this point. It's bizarre. But
they definitely saw the radar.
They saw the radar.
Because it came in heavy.
It did come in heavy.
I don't know, it's weird though. It's almost like they should have tires for the rain. Like, when the track's wet or something, they should make specific tires so that they're not driving on slicks and just sliding everywhere.
That would be a great idea.
It's almost like, you know what? And you could even have like a halfway, almost like an intermediate, we'll call it.
That's a great idea.
Like the track's drying up or something.
Let the drivers use it and see how well they do on it. That'd be impressive.
Oh, that's a real. You know what? We should be running F1.
We should. Wait, great idea.
They have that.
They do have that.
Why didn't they use that?
Oh, I don't know, man. I just work here.
It's a damn good question. So we heard there was a power outage. Okay, this came out afterwards, I think.
Oh.
Apparently there was some sort of power outage, but they were still able to check their radars and know that all the rain was coming. It was a little bizarre.
Yeah, so what I heard was that it was like some electrical issue where like all the not the telemetry, but like the stuff for the flags and stuff on the track.
Yeah.
Like to signal all the drivers, that's what they were having issues with.
Okay.
Because why on earth would you make your outdoor electrical equipment waterproof? That would just be...
Well, I mean, didn't you guys see when they were saying last lap, the guy's just standing there pointing with the one?
Yeah.
And it was the same thing in the F2 race, too.
Yeah.
The guy just stood there holding his finger up.
That would be really easy to see going by at like 220 kilometers.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, there's a power outage, but we can't wave the white flag anymore. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But...
I guess the flags aren't waterproof.
Yeah. I don't get it. But apparently we're not supposed to get it. We don't make the calls.
Do you think that could be a call from F1 or the Monaco Automobile Club? Or Automobile Monaco Club, whatever they call themselves. Could that be from them?
I don't know, actually. It's a very, very interesting.
Because if they say they're not ready, like we're not going to marshal in these conditions, then F1's hands are pretty tied, I would assume.
Well, I mean, let's not talk about the marshals. I mean, listen, Tsunoda just grazed the barrier, and then we got a red flag, and then Schumacher's car's in two pieces. And like, yeah, you know what? Let's throw out a safety car. Or, yeah, maybe we'll red flag it down the road. Who knows? Like that, I don't know. The marshals clearly don't, or not marshals, but the race directors, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the marshals they're pretty good. And just from my own experience being there for that, the historic Grand Prix, I'm assuming they use the same marshals because it's the Automobile Club of Monaco, and man, those guys were so fast. Never never use a safety car. They would just run out, get everything, localized yellow every time. It's got to come from the top, I think, with F1 making these decisions.
But that should have been like an immediate red flag, like.
Oh, for Schumacher's, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sonoda's not really.
Yeah, that was so ridiculous.
At all.
Yeah.
I think they should have just yellow flagged the sector, grabbed the two little pieces of
wheel cover and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bizarre. At least we finally did get racing.
Yep. Yeah, and it was actually a decent Monaco race for the first time ever.
Yes. Yeah, I mean it wasn't short of entertainment. We'll say that.
Can we please talk about the Alonso train?
The Alonso train. Yeah.
Hamilton fans beware.
Yeah. Hamilton must have been having hungry flashbacks, being stuck behind Alonso. I mean, like, he was a good 3 seconds off the pace, and just had no desire to go any faster. It was hilarious.
Fastest lap.
And then just puts in the fastest lap, and he's like, all right, I'll just turn it up. Now everybody else has burned out their tires and is probably like overheating or whatever. But
yeah. But I mean, hey, kudos to our McLaren guy who who snagged that fastest lap at the end there.
Oh man.
Did it go into Lando?
Yeah. Lando
nice.
ended up getting P6 and fastest lap.
yeah.
So.
Yeah, almost P5. He almost ended George's streak of top fives. It was so close at the end, but he got the fastest lap. That was huge. He made his Instagram post too. Just wait until I'm back at 100%. Yeah. So he's got all the confidence in the world. I wish I could say the same about his teammate.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Do you guys think Alonso, do you guys think Ricardo, is this it? Is it over?
I think it might be. I've also been seeing a lot of conspiracy theories about how the team's just, they're kind of over Ricardo and just kind of, out to get him a little bit.
See,
I don't believe the conspiracy
I don't believe that
theories.
either.
Yeah.
I can't. They're paying him too much money. They can't.
Because it's not in McLaren's history. They would never do anything like that. Ron Dennis or copying Ferraris or anything like that. That's not in their history at all.
Is he blocking Hamilton? Yeah. It just that mojo and that confidence that he always seems to have just doesn't seem to be there anymore. And you know what? I know the McLaren can be a tricky car to figure out, and it's obviously built to Lando's liking, obviously. But you would think a driver of Ricardo's caliber would have figured it out by now if he was going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I am a little concerned for him. And that's just a lot of money for one guy in the budget cap area, you know? To be qualifying P14 and then...
And it hurts because he's like... Monaco is one of the tracks where he performs really well at. Like he technically should have won it in 2016.
Yeah.
He won it in 2018. Like, he always qualifies well.
I thought he did win in 2016.
No, wasn't 2016 the
I
pit
think
stop?
that was the year that he got screwed at the pit stop. It might have been the year after.
It might have been the year after.
Yeah, I'll double check that.
Was it 17?
I'm going to check right now.
Yeah. Formula A fact check time. But he has a good history there. He knows the track really well. And it was last year in the McLaren too. He really didn't do very well either.
Mm-hmm.
It was another Q2 exit.
And then meanwhile, Lando ends up on the podium in Monaco. So
with Carlando.
Yeah,
Sainz,
that was a great podium.
That was a great moment. And Sainz got to hold his spot again this year in second place.
Yeah.
Which was nice. But it has to be said, you lock out the front row at a track where overtaking is supposedly impossible and you still blow it.
Well, it's just, typical Ferrari strategy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say there.
It was a Lewis win, sorry. It was a Lewis win in 2016.
Okay.
Ricciardo did get screwed over in the pits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting screwed over in the pits, you guys are talking about right now.
We just come around to that. And you know what? It's Leclerc's best result ever at Monaco because he's never finished.
Yeah, it's also his only result in Monaco. So.
Hearing the anger in his voice broke my heart.
Yeah.
All the expletives, man. That sucked.
And you know what? I'm all for like having class and keeping your cool. Like when Tsunoda would freak out at his team in his rookie year, and like even Max has been bratty on the radio. I hate hearing that. I can't stand it. This was one time where I'm like, you know what, Leclerc, you have every right to go off on your team. Yeah. They royally screwed you. You had nothing to do with it.
Well, it's just a mounting frustration, too, after another win slipped away from him last week, which was going to be comfortable. And again, no fault of his own. It's not a strategy thing. The car died, but it was still, it's just frustrations mounting at that team. And you can kind of see it starting to boil over into everybody else, too, not just the drivers. That might be leading to some of these bad calls that they've made the last couple of races.
Well, because we look at Sainz, he's like, he took the strategy into his own hands, and it rewarded him.
Yeah.
Right? Healthily, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a good job on that.
Well, I mean, he probably maybe took a page out of Vettel's book where these strategists don't know what they're doing. I'm just going to have to do it on my own, I guess. So, like, shouts out to Sainz. That was huge. That was huge when he saw the weather coming and he knew the right call to make, so that was huge.
I'm going to make a meme of Alonso and Vettel on the noose, and then Leclerc, like, first time.
Yeah. There's so many. I had to bring back the old... There's, like, an old, like, Patrick Star meme from SpongeBob, too, with the Ferrari strategist, where, like, the Ferrari engineers, and he's, like, the scientist, like, boiling all the chemicals together, and it has Ferrari strategist, and he's just nailing a piece of wood to his forehead. They can't seem to figure it out. It looked like this year they might have turned a corner, but it's like It's coming back around. It's like it's the same team, guys.
Yeah. Well, and then now you've got Max pulling the lead in the the drivers' championship, but you know who's not far behind him? Sergio.
No, he's not.
Checo, man.
No, he's not.
Right? Like I think this is obviously wishful thinking, but what if we end up getting like a 2009 where it could be anybody's win at Abu Dhabi?
Yeah.
I could almost put a guarantee that Horner will not let it get to that. I'm sorry.
I
I hate saying that, but there is no chance after what we talked about last podcast, multi-map.
Yeah.
Maltz map 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, multi-map 21, and then also Ricky and Verstappen butting heads.
Yeah.
He's just got too much to remind him to never let that happen again. I
Yeah.
don't think Horner and Helmet would let that happen.
I don't think so either, but I do think they kind of. I mean, it's pretty obvious Verstappen's still the number one guy there. That's never going to change. They do have to keep an eye out for Perez though too.
Yeah,
Just
he
because.
seems to be really, really getting in the groove in this car now.
Yeah.
Well, he's out-qualified Max this race, and then I'm going to go ahead and say he beat him in Spain on merit.
Yes.
The strategy was not a... So, the way I'm looking at it, Sergio's outdrove Max 2 races now. That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, I mean, he probably could have won Jeddah too if again he got screwed by that safety car. But he had the pole and he was driving great, and just lost out with that safety car, right? So it could have been 3 wins for. We could have been looking at a Checo leading the championship at this point, which is crazy to think of because I don't think anybody would have thought that at the start of the season.
And as a driver, you can't ignore that. Like, if you can taste that it's there,
Yeah.
there's no way.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll set aside as a second driver this time again.
Yeah.
When you're that close.
Yeah.
I could see this boiling over into internal drama.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think he has it in him to sit back. Like last year's totally different. It was his first year with the team. I think he knew he wasn't really going for the championship last year, so he was okay with playing that role. But you can tell this year, I think something's just switched in his head.
I think he likes the new car a lot.
Oh yeah.
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 Works with him.
Yeah.
And next race we're going to Baku, which he did well at.
Yeah,
last year. I mean, mind
he's a winner
you,
there. Yeah.
Max did really well in that race until
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max was.
Pirelli yeeted itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max was.
and
miles
Hamilton
away.
needed himself.
Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta ask, can either of you, as go-karters maybe, help me with this? Why on earth would you ever have a button that turns your brakes off, or part of your brakes
The magic button.
off? Why is that existent?
Well, I can't, like, from a karting perspective, you can't really relate to that because I think the way the magic is, it like focuses the braking more on the front to
Help turn
To
in or
help.
something?
no for heat. So it's the magic is literally a system to heat up the tires. So you put more grip, but like
Oh,
brakes
you're
get
like
so
you're
hot.
putting resistance in the front
Yeah.
axles.
yeah. So
for the
it's
front hubs.
only on like a warm up lap or whatever.
Well, so he
You don't-
left it on.
He accidentally nudged it because like in go karting you only have the brakes in the rear, so it's
Oh, I
you
didn't
know what
know
I mean.
that.
It's not, and yeah, it's a single rotor in the rear, and they love to lock up and send you spinning.
Yeah, and in the 4-stroke, well, my 4-stroke car, you could adjust the brake balance manually too, but you'd have to really be trying to hit that. Like, you can't say like I hit it by accident. Like you'd be
Yeah.
like, why is your hand all the way down by your leg, basically?
Yeah,
But on the it's risky to have that. Well, I mean, you see the steering wheels these guys do. There's like 100 buttons.
yeah,
You figure at some point somebody's gonna hit something by accident. Something's gonna go wrong.
That's true.
So
It happened twice, right?
yeah,
Last year, twice.
yeah,
really, he hit the button twice.
Where did he hit it again? Was it?
he did hit it somewhere else. I can't remember though.
It wasn't as critical.
Yeah,
But he's like, oh, that button again. Oh, it's coming into the pits. Didn't he overshoot his pit stop?
there might have been a big brake lockup or something. Yeah,
I'll have to look into
Yeah,
it. I can't
yeah.
remember. But there was 2 last year.
yeah.
And then, well, since we're on the topic of Lewis Hamilton, I think this is a great segue into the whole Ocon incident.
We're gonna have a bit to talk about. With
Gloves
that one.
off on this one. I got my take and Kyle's got his take.
Yeah. So
I'll leave you guys to it.
speaking of braking, so what was it? A 5-second penalty for Ocon?
Yeah, 5-second time penalty.
So it ended up dropping him out of the points at the end of the race, which honestly you could maybe blame Alonso for that for holding everybody up.
100% you could blame Alonso for that.
So we ended up dropping out of the points of that 5-second penalty. I agreed with the penalty. Ryan's gonna be seething here, and he's gonna have his piece, 100%. It seemed like to me Hamilton was close enough, and being on the faster tire too, seemed like he was going to cruise by Ocon, and it seemed like Ocon had the room on the outside to give him the space, but then ultimately turned in. They made contact. Hamilton got a bit of damage on his front wing and got stuck behind Ocon for a while, and the rest was history. And they ended up giving the penalty for 5 seconds for, I guess, causing a collision was the official wording. So I think it was a penalty. I think he turned in on him, and I think Hamilton was going to go through. But Ryan.
Okay, my take. He was not side by side enough. I think Hamilton had to concede and back off, and Ocon had every right to the racing line, in my opinion. And that says a lot because I am not an Ocon fan at all. So for me to defend him takes a lot. And, I get it, though, from Hamilton's point. Like, he sees a rear tire turning ever in front of him. He's like, I just want to hit it so bad. Silverstone and Albon. He's like, oh my God, there's a rear tire. I just want to nudge it so bad. Should I spin him? I should spin him. Let's go hit it. I want to hit it so bad. That's just what he does. That's his move. Just a little boop. Classic Hamilton. But yeah, I don't think he deserved that penalty. I think it was a racing incident. I don't think it was Hamilton's fault either. Like, if I was Ocon, I look in my mirror and he's like barely at my rear tire. He's going to back off. I have the racing line.
Yeah.
If they were side by side or his wheel was up against the side pod,
yeah,
then yeah, you got to kind of leave space and race up the hill. And you probably could have cut him back off going through the squiggly uphill section.
Yeah,
But that's my take.
It just looked, I don't know, it just looked to me like he was just close enough. I get the front wheel thing. I totally get it. It just, on a track like Monaco where it's just super narrow and it's so hard to pass, and it just seemed like he had the speed and he was going to be going through anyway. And I think Ocon should have been aware of where the other car is and should have seen him coming through. I get it. There's going to be Hamilton haters. There always is. They're going to be thinking I'm a Hamilton fanboy. I'm a McLaren fanboy. I'll put that out right now. I just think from a pure racing standpoint, I think Ocon should have been more aware of his surroundings. And then Hamilton was just too close for him to turn to that point. Because, I mean, we've seen tons of incidents where, the guy doesn't necessarily concede the position, doesn't just say, okay, here you go, but he at least leaves the space to the inside, and I just don't think Ocon left enough space.
No, he cut right in on the apex.
Yeah, so
because he thought he was backing.
It was a little dodgy. I wouldn't have been upset if they let it go, but I also agreed with the decision. I guess that's what I'll leave it at.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's okay to say we agree to disagree because I don't think he deserved a penalty. I think it was a racing incident. But anyway, Ocon's no perfect driver either.
No, he's had his fair share.
The only thing that really sealed the deal with me was hitting Max as a lapped car.
Yeah, and I'm totally on your side with that one. I didn't get no business doing that at all.
Pathetic driving.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally with you on that one. I'll take that to the grave with you. Don't worry.
But you know what? Watching the cars go around Monaco, I was actually very surprised. I thought they were going to be a lot boatier and look way bigger than they did.
Yeah. They
still look huge. This track is so small for them, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I feel like there could be a couple tweaks in the track layout.
I mean, you can't really modify the road that's already there.
Okay, hear me out. La Nouvelle Chicane after the tunnel.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to stick. Like, it literally goes right to the edge of the marina. Like, there's water on the other side of the wall. I don't think it has to stick out as far as it does or be as narrow as it does.
Or,
that runoff is really big.
Or get rid of it. Go straight through.
Then we could actually have overtaking.
Because you could overtake in the following corner. I forget what it's called.
Or you would at least be able to build up enough speed with the, they could put it.
They could be a second DRS.
Put a second DRS zone there, yeah.
You come absolute blasting down there and take on the inside, or you force the guy wide.
Yeah.
Or you force the guy to the inside and you go around him into the next chicane.
Because there's plenty of room to go too wide through there. That's not the issue. It's just they don't have enough run up or space to actually attempt to move.
No.
I mean,
Like, as soon as you pop out of the tunnel, DRS zone activate, and you fly down.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. And I mean, guys try to, they sometimes try to make a move there. It rarely ever works. You're gonna have to run the chicane and concede the position, or you're gonna catch the inside wall because, again, I think it just sticks out way too far. I mean, credit to Joe Guan Yu. He tried.
Yeah, he tried.
he even went on the radio to said I tried. And he had a couple Code Brown moments.
Yeah. Oh, he had a good save there, though.
Save of the year.
God.
I don't think anyone. I thought Sainz's on the front straightaway was insane when he caught the wet patch, and then Joe just totally outdid him.
Yeah.
Like that was
Few
crazy.
Vettel's qualifying, or it was practice, where he got real close to the wall and like kicked up the concrete dust. That looked cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of drift do this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of drifting. That was pretty fun.
I'll take that all day.
I'm sure you're happy about that one.
Mick should take a drifting lesson from you, or at least how to save the car.
Boy, oh boy.
Guys, it's the second time he split a car in half.
So it's funny you bring that up, because I think I've got an interesting talking point here.
Yeah.
Do we think he's gonna last in Formula One?
Not at this pace, no.
At this rate, I don't.
Listen, he's an F2 champion. We know he's a good driver, but in an era where there's budget caps, he's costing the team a lot of money. He's not really getting the results.
Yeah.
Right? And yes, he did amazing last season, but look at who he was up against. Versus now he's against K-Mag and
Mazepin.
Yeah. And K-Mag is just dragging or wiping the floor with him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
consistently outperforming him.
Right, and it's not like Haas is a championship contending team where you're like, okay, maybe he can't cope with the pressure. There's zero pressure from Haas.
You could be getting points every other race. Like, there's no reason for you not to be getting points.
That's a car that should be fighting for points every race, honestly. Every team's going to have their up and down. They're going to have bad weekends, whatever, where the car is just not really performing the way they want it to, but you should at least be in the running. Challenging for points. Magnussen is up there every weekend. They've had some bad luck lately, the team, but like you said, I mean, the budget cap. How many more crashes? How many cars can you write off?
Yeah.
Before the team eventually looks at it and says, we can't afford this guy anymore.
Yeah.
He's too costly, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I would say they're the sixth best team on the grid right now. They're right in the middle.
Who's behind them?
Aston.
Williams,
and I'd say they're faster than AlphaTauri currently.
Yeah.
Depending on the track, they kind of switch 6th and 7th in my opinion. But I don't think the Haas is. It can be on certain tracks faster than the McLaren. But I would say the McLaren overall.
Yeah, overall is a better car.
Yeah, overall is a better car. McLaren or Mercedes is overall a better car. And so is the Alpine now, in my opinion. So they are the 6th best, which is huge progress from last season.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like last year the Haas was like the 11th fastest team.
Yeah, they did like a full, in true, American style sports franchise, full rebuild.
Yeah.
We're burning it and tearing it down and starting up again. That's basically what they did.
Yep.
So it's cool to see them fighting again and have a competitive car, but they've got to have two drivers that are actually putting in the work, and not crashing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So
you gotta actually finish races to get points.
So I don't know if Conor McGregor might curse them when he makes predictions. I don't know.
Man, celebrities are getting to it.
They're getting a little. Well, Monaco is always a pretty celebrity heavy.
Yeah, and so is Miami, and so it's just becoming.
Monaco was always the one where they had a bunch of celebrities at.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a triple crown.
Yeah. I get it. That they're trying to appeal to bigger masses instead of just nerdy car fans.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor was the first celebrity I've seen who I actually know. And then I heard him talk, and I'm like, good job. They brought on someone who knows absolutely nothing about what he's talking about.
Yes. He bet his money on the Haas, so I guess to win. So
everybody has.
He pretty much said, that's they're the team to watch.
I don't think I've gone with if I'm Magnussen.
Yeah. So, but that's Monaco. It's Monaco, baby.
And then he also said, anyone can win. I'm like,
yeah,
not in Monaco.
Not at this track, unless it's 96 or whatever, where 3 cars finish the race.
Yeah.
Then maybe, but not usually. And you know what? You can say what you want about Monaco, and it's like it's a little corny, and it's kind of boring, hard to pass, whatever. They can't lose this race, man. Like I know that there's a contract.
It's such a great race.
They're talking about it pretty seriously again. Hey?
Yeah, they have to get it done, man. They can't lose it. It's one of the Triple Crown events of motorsport, right? And it's it's been around for like almost 100 years. This race, like before Formula One even existed.
Well,
so
what's the fan attendance at Monaco?
It's huge. I mean, the stands always sell out.
No, I mean like how many F1 attendees, like ticket payers, are there?
Oh, I know. It's
play a factor.
It's got to be huge, and I mean.
But then there's also the people that just get an Airbnb or something and watch from the balcony too, right?
Well, I know a lot of those. I didn't realize this before. I was kind of curious. I looked it up. A lot of those properties are. It seems like companies buy them out, and they specifically rent them out. So I don't know if F1 takes revenue from those companies. If they've got it's F1, so I imagine they've got their fingers in everything. So imagine they've got to be getting money from it some way. But I know there are some companies that like make these package suite deals where you buy the suite or whatever, and then you get race tickets and invites to parties and whatever else these guys get. So it's just too big. They can't lose it, man.
Yeah, and it's also just like the historic allure of the Monaco GP, and every driver dreams of winning in Monaco.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like a lot of the F1 fan, or I guess we'll call them the newer F1 fans, don't really have an appreciation for Monaco because they don't realize how hard it is to drive. It's what, 77 laps or 78 laps?
It's the hardest race to win.
And you have to get so close to the barriers every single lap.
Oh, yeah. Like, those replays they're showing, there's one specifically of Checo where
skimming
like a millimeter. He had to have touched it, like going through the swimming pool, the chicane. Yeah. It's just so mesmerizing to watch. And the skill that, like you said, the skill it takes to drive those narrow streets at full blast in those cars is insane.
Yeah, and time-wise, too, it's what, like a 2-hour race or something? And you're just...
Yeah, it's
like
the longest.
By the end of the race,
you're
still... And you have to manage your tires, and you have to predict how close you can get, how much your car is going to slip. Like, yes, on-track action, Monaco's not a good race.
No.
But from a driver's standpoint, it is a brilliant, brilliant race.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm pretty certain every driver would agree that you can't lose it. It's too important to F1. It's just too big. Yeah. Charles might say otherwise.
Yeah. I also heard a little piece, though. Monaco's so independent from every other stop that, they have their own marshal system. They have their own sponsors. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, Rolex is the sponsor of F1.
Yeah.
Tag Heuer is everywhere on the broadcast.
Yeah.
So I know that really nudges F1 in the wrong direction. It pisses them off. So they put their own sponsors up. They have their own marshalling system. They do their own broadcast directory. They kind of really are the rebels of F1. They kind of give the F1 the middle finger and say we're doing it our way.
Yeah.
And Monaco costs 10 to 12 million for F1.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what I found out.
Wow, but they have to. It's got to be making them enough money. I mean, there's so much money.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure. But it just becomes a pissing match, like who can piss off who the most kind of thing. Like,
yeah, I get it.
Like they're trying to one up, like show their stature. Like, we're Monaco, we're not budging.
Yeah.
And then F1 returns with, we're threatened not coming back. They've had these, like, I got messages sent to me like, what do you think about losing Monaco? And as far as I'm concerned, like, how long have they been threatening this now? For years, right? Like, they've talked about it for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna lose Monaco. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll see it when I believe it.
And then
I'll believe it when I see
Formula E is gonna take over and be the premier event. Yeah, I don't think so. It's not gonna happen.
No.
Speaking of getting pissed off, thank you for reminding me. I'm a little pissed off.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Because of the inconsistency of the penalties and the calls. Can somebody explain to me how there's no penalty for crossing the pit exit line?
Hey guys, look, a brick wall.
When it's on video. Yeah, okay, I know you don't want to watch it, and I think you might have been dodging this, but
I mean, it hurts for us because we look at, like, in qualifying, they are so, like, you're a millimeter over the line, and it's like, yep, sorry, your lap time's deleted.
No lap for you.
Yeah, exactly. But then you look at, like, Max was over the line. I think the way they were defending it was he slipped or something, which it did look like he lost a bit of traction, so he was trying to avoid an incident.
I'm going to go against my guy here, and you can say it's driver error. Don't go so fast in the wet on cold tires.
Well, that's what I would put it down to as well. I mean, yeah, that's probably what they looked at. Well, that's the thing. They didn't give any reasoning for why. They didn't say anything. Like, if you could just explain it to me, like, fine. Get it over with. But they don't say anything.
Did Checo do it too? Did they both
Apparently
do it?
he did. I didn't see that one.
So double offense.
But Ferrari protested both of them.
And it got wiped clean.
I'm pretty sure it got scrapped instantly.
Oh, no.
Which, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And
I'm glad it didn't stick, though, because it was really nice seeing Checo win that race.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're super happy for the guy.
Yeah, but would you be okay with trading both of them getting penalized to get Leclerc on the podium at home?
If it was on the top step, yes.
It would have been nice to see.
It wouldn't have been. It would have promoted Sainz to his first win.
And then I think it would have gotten Russell on the podium.
So it would have been a Sainz, Leclerc, Russell.
It would only
okay, you know what? I actually would have been all right with that.
Yeah.
Would have been okay. Like, I get it. Once it's over and done with, it's super hard to overturn. I get it, but that just seems like a call that you can like make definitively right when it happens. Like, okay, it's on video. There's the evidence.
Yeah.
It's not like an opinionated call, like a contact with another car.
Like Ocon?
Yeah, exactly. It's not opinionated. There's no argument. The wheel's over the line. That's it. And like Marcus said, you're
Lando's
like,
been scrutinized so hard in qualifying.
yeah, and it's like if you're like a millimeter over the line qualifying, lap time deleted, you're a loser. Go to the back of the grid, and that's it. There's no,
suck.
yeah,
Back
exactly,
tattoo.
exactly. You can't argue it. There's just no say in it, right? And so they enforce that like crazy. And then when race comes around, I said it's like Bird Box, bandana over the eyes.
I actually think I know why they didn't call Red Bull out for those penalties.
Let's hear it.
Because someone let Helmut Marko out of his old age home again.
Oh my god.
So you had that old crazy dude running around Monaco, and you don't want to piss him off. What was he going on about? He wanted to penalize. He wanted Ferrari to have a penalty for for the weight scale.
Oh, because they pushed the car back, right?
Yeah, like.
Which is okay. They confirmed that's okay. It's happened many times before.
But my point is, who let him out of his home? Like, who gave him the passcode to get out of his building?
I don't know. Just I can't stand that guy. I can't stand these marshals or the directors, man. And that on top of just not starting the race on time, delaying because of the rain, and then they can't get obvious penalties called when there's just no argument against it. They won't do it.
I think the race director for the pit lane exit, the guy's name is Michael Masso. And he looks like Massey, but it's just like he looks like his brother with a mustache.
Have we ever? I don't know. I can't even remember the new race director's name. I can't remember it.
I don't know.
He came from Le Mans or something, but
yes, he did.
We've never seen him and Michael Massey in the same place at the same time ever. So there's my conspiracy theory for you, because we're getting the same kinds of calls. Nothing's changing.
No comment.
No comment. Yeah, we thought it would get better, but.
So, does anyone know why K-Mag retired?
No.
Like, what was because they showed Mick's crash, or they were showing the Mick crash, and then they just showed K-Mag walking, and they didn't really say what happened.
Sorry to interrupt quickly. Niels Wittich and Eduardo Freitas.
That's the guy, yes.
The race director.
Yes, Freitas is the guy that came from Le Mans, remember that? Yeah, so... I like Le Mans too, so if he can stay away from Le Mans for all I care. I don't want him back there. Magnussen, though, I have no idea. What was so weird was they showed the crash. It's like, oh, there's a Haas split in half again.
Yeah.
And then they instantly flashed to Magnussen, like, with his hands up in the air in the pit lane. And
that was a bad look on Magnussen's part, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, looking upset that your teammate just crashed. Like, you should look sad, not annoyed.
Was he upset that, oh, Mick, like, how could you do that? Or do you think he was upset where it's like, oh my god, like, it's just like the car's...
His body language looked like, really? Another car out? Like, you crashed again? That's what his body language looked like to me. I could be reading that completely wrong.
Well, but to a certain extent, I don't say I fully agree with him, but I do know that sometimes, or like in some situations, the drivers share chassis, right? Like last year with Mercedes, I think Bottas drove Hamilton's chassis a few times. So in his mind, he's also like, dude, you ruined one of our chassis. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have the
funds to keep doing this.
Well, that could be it too. I think like Magnussen and Steiner are pretty close, I would say. They're pretty close.
Yeah.
They're pretty tight with each other, and
They have a cute
Magnussen
relationship.
I see him giving the ride to Steiner in the NASCAR, and like Steiner's like fitted into that tiny little helmet. It's
That was
hilarious.
funny.
Yeah, and I think maybe Magnussen might have a little more insight on like how they're doing for money. Maybe, I don't know. Might be considered as a conspiracy. I don't really think it is though. And they're talking about they have these upgrades coming soon, and that could hurt those upgrades that they might be putting in, right? They might have to start all of a sudden putting more money into fixing the car again. So
Yeah. And it was a power unit issue.
power unit.
For Magnus.
Okay.
I just found that.
So maybe it was just bad timing when they put the cameras on. Maybe he got in the pits and he was pissed about his power unit issue,
Could be that.
Maybe.
right?
He was out for a while before that, no?
Was
So
he?
Maybe
I think
well,
so.
I
we
didn't
know
even
that
see.
They don't always play the stuff chronologically, right? Maybe
No,
it was
that's true.
just,
That's very true. I know radio messages come in at terrible times as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Monaco was directing the
True.
broadcast, so maybe they were just trying to.
Yeah. There's a Haas guy that's not in a car. It must be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like no, Mick's still in the car. Yeah. I hope they figure it out. That team.
Me too.
Yeah, good group of guys. So
Yeah.
I'll see.
And then we get the 1 week break before we're back at it in Baku.
Yeah,
So
we've
that'll
got
be-
Baku.
Back to Baku.
Back to Baku. Yeah, so we'll definitely have a show obviously for our Baku preview. But is there any other takeaways you guys have from Monaco? Like, do you think? Because I think Ferrari are totally on the back foot right now.
Totally on the back foot.
Not just because they're behind the championship again, but I just think Red Bull are cruising by.
And you know what? This is where we saw the momentum shift in Red Bull's favor last year as
Yeah.
well.
I
Yeah.
hate to say this. This is also like a repeat of, was it 2018 or 17 where Vettel was leading the championship? And
Yeah.
then Ferrari just went, you're on your own, Vettel, figure it out.
Yeah, and then he has a little Hockenheim incident, and it was just like a complete nosedive after
Hey,
that.
what the hell is with the Ferrari home race curse? It's not just Charles. You just
It's
said
all
it.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Vettel at Hockenheim.
They just, and there was, well, I mean, their
Carlos
own,
at Spain going into the gravel.
yeah, and then just their own home races too. Imola, right? They blew it. It was just
true.
awful. The only good race they've had recently at home was Monza a few years ago, and they cheated. We found that out. So I don't know. It's bizarre, but they're definitely on the back foot. And Baku is just such a high-speed track too, and we know the I was gonna say Honda Red Bull powertrain department engine is so fast. So I have no reason to believe that Ferrari would really get back going again this weekend.
You think
Or is it
you
next
think
weekend?
McLaren could borrow one of those engines, Ryan? Just
After you fix them, after you fix the reliability.
I don't want any of the drivers calling it a GP2 engine, so we're okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
That was a terrible
you
Honda year.
could put a rocket ship on here. We'd still be P11. Yeah. I
That is one guy who doesn't have a home race Monaco or Ferrari curse, because he won in Valencia 2012.
yes he did. Yeah, I think he won Spain 2013 too, or 14, one of those years.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So
I think
And I
it
think
would
that-
be cool to see like a generic powertrain for F1, but then that takes
No,
away from the
no.
engineering aspect of the competition.
yeah,
too,
it's a little
right?
more fun just having the diversity too.
Well, it's the whole, like, that's even in the name. Formula One. Who can get the formula right?
Yeah.
If anyone didn't know the background of the name.
Yeah.
That would be.
Yeah, because you do have F2 and F3 that's more like spec racing, which
Or
is
Le Mans.
Those
or,
mecha chrome engines. You were just talking about that the other day.
yeah. Oh
How
my
sweet
God.
they sound.
Well, because I was trying to watch, like, we have Sky Sports F1 on our sketchy Russian TV box at home. So they play the replays, and the F2 race was on before the F1 race. I'm like, you know what? Let me watch this F2 race, and those engines
sound
just,
insane. And they're
Awesome.
flame
It's-
spitters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the racing
turbo
action is great in
noises and-
F2 as well.
Yeah, well, was it Deruvula?
Drufel is in there, yeah.
Yeah. He's the Brazilian driver? No.
Oh, that's Dragovic.
Dragovic,
Yeah.
yeah. Dragovic did really well holding off Porsche.
Yeah.
That was intense. Dude, it was like Max and Lewis in F1 last year. They were miles ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
No, good sign.
Yeah.
Bad sign if you're Schumacher, Ricciardo, or Latifi.
Well, there you go. We talked about it last week too. There's just so many young guys that are waiting to take that seat. You can't afford to just be crashing and having so many incidents.
Now, F2 in the recent years, correct me if I'm wrong, it's had a ton of talent come through it. Max, Charles, George, Lando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Max
Albon
even
was
Max
F2.
raced GP2.
Latifi was
season,
Latifi was F2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he win
shouts
or
out.
second or?
Second. I think he was second behind De Vries.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
Yeah. So
Go
took
Tifi,
a few years
baby.
to get there, but he managed it. So
Go Tifi.
shouts out to the GOAT Latifi.
Yeah, Tsunoda was an impressive F2 driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, third
So
of his
was-
rookie season.
Joe wasn't terrible.
Joe was good. No, he had some good wins. I think he won Monaco last year actually, the F2 feature race. So tons of talent down there. So yeah, if you're in F1 and you're not doing well, you have to pick it up at some point because
I wonder if Alpine will make a deal with a team like, hey, we don't have a spot at Alpine, but you can borrow Piastri for the time being.
Someone should. I would imagine Piastri at McLaren.
that would be unreal.
That'd be
That'd be-
unreal.
That'd be good.
I just can't see that happening, just because McLaren and Alpine are like pretty much direct competition at the moment.
Yes, they
Yeah, I
are.
feel like if anything, he'll probably go to Williams.
Yeah, because
What about even AlphaTauri? Like if Gasly were to go to because they got to promote within their own academy.
Yeah, they just seem to stick to their own guys, and that's it. That's
And
again,
where would Gasly go?
McLaren.
there was
We did not give Gasly credit for just like ripping past people in the race.
Yes.
So let's take a moment for that.
yes,
2 passes
nice
and
little clap.
passes in places passes don't belong, and he
Yeah.
like pulled them off clean.
It's
and nicely.
crazy. Yeah,
So it was really sad to see him like just get caught in the DRS train
yeah,
at the end of the race once it dried up, and then
yeah.
he deserved to be in the points as far as I'm concerned.
I was thinking he was gonna get points, so he was just flying by people and making. He's like, oh, who said you can't pass in Monaco? I'm just gonna make it look super easy all of a sudden.
What was it when he went on the inside of Ricciardo?
Yeah, that was.
That was ballsy.
That was sick.
I can't.
He found grip where grip did not belong.
Yeah, that was right before the swimming pool, I think.
Yeah, right before the swimming
Yeah,
pool.
it's
I don't know what that corner
To
is called.
back, maybe.
Yeah.
I think is the corner. Yeah, but it's really impressive. And then getting Bottas going down. I think it was Bottas going down the hill.
Yep.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really, really cool to see. So yeah, shouts out Gasly. He might have. I think there was a rumor maybe Aston Martin too. If Vettel retires, might try.
Gasly to Aston?
Yeah,
That
I
was a
know.
rumor.
Is that a
Hey,
demotion or a
I'm-
promotion?
Yeah, that's a
There
demotion.
might be demotion, but I'm just throwing it out there.
I
Never
wouldn't
know.
want him at. I'm happy with him.
I could see it actually, because if Gasly feels like he's never going to make it to a large team and Lawrence Stroll's waving this gigantic check,
He might just go for the payday.
he might be like,
yeah.
you know what, I just need to get my money up before I'm out of here, and then
Yeah. I think he'll have options though. Vettel, I think, will retire. Ricardo, I love the guy, but I just can't see him
Time to move
continuing
on.
past this
Yeah.
year.
I
And
think he's
we
past
don't.
his prime. To
Yeah.
be honest
Oh,
with you.
absolutely.
If it wasn't gonna happen in a Red Bull, it's
I think he has 2 options now after this, the way the season's going. He goes to a slower back marker team and does like a Vettel, or even though Mercedes wasn't, but Schumacher wasn't fantastic on his return. Alonso, after the Renault and Ferrari days, he's always been in midfield teams.
Yeah.
And you take a smaller cut and you're just kind of happy being there.
Yeah.
So he could do that where you don't have massive expectations.
well, it's like
Or-
Kimi. He came back to F1, enjoyed it, and now he's back to NASCAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
Almost bankrupted Lotus too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving him the bonuses for every point he scored, and he's ended up scoring over like 100 points or whatever.
and they're like, oh, he did not see this coming.
yeah.
Also, another thing he could do is he's claimed how much he loves Texas.
Yeah.
He could go to IndyCar.
Well, like Marcus Ericsson just won the
Indy 500.
Oh,
Shout out
yes,
to Marcus.
shout out,
Yeah.
former F1 driver. So yeah, big shout out to him.
hectic Indy 500. I didn't get to watch the full thing,
Yeah.
but it was a busy day of motorsports.
I'd be
for
down
me.
to see him drive an IndyCar.
So would I.
He
They
could
could do
stay
really
in the
good.
McLaren family if he wants.
Yeah.
If there's
That's tainted now.
yeah.
I hate to say that. It's tainted.
Well, and who was it?
Because Zach Brown runs Aero McLaren SP as well. He
Yeah.
runs both teams.
Yeah.
And one of their drivers, I think, was it Pat O'Ward?
Yeah.
Just signed a contract extension for IndyCar.
Yeah, Felix Rosenquist, the other driver, isn't super impressive. I bet you they'd put Danny in there in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Although Zach
Maybe it is there.
Although Zach did make it public a few days ago that there are exit clauses in Ricardo's contract. I don't know if that was like trying to light the fire under him to be like, let's go already, or if he was actually trying to be like, you're done.
It did the polar opposite.
Yeah, it did the polar opposite, unfortunately. But only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did he start? 08, 09? With Toro Rosso?
HRT.
HRT, that's right.
He did a few races with HRT,
That's
the
right.
wondrous HRT, the last team that failed to make a race because they were so slow in qualifying. Yeah, he actually did a few races for them first, and then Toro Rosso. But yeah, it was around like 09, 2010, something like that.
That's a pretty good career. 12 years,
Yeah.
13 years.
It's a long run in F1 terms,
Yeah.
right?
I'm gonna figure out the number, what the average. Maybe we
it's
can
got to
make
be
a little-
yeah.
We can make a little graphic or something.
Yeah, it's got to be short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So 8 race wins, 13 years.
not bad.
Not horrible.
Good little career.
It'd be nice to go out with your head up. It'd be nice to go out with your head up high, not on this note. But hey, life's not perfect,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, boys.
Yeah, I think we've pretty much covered
Yeah,
all
we'll
the
wrap it up and
bases.
see you guys before
Before Baku.
before Baku, and then
Yeah.
Stick to the streets. Keep the street theme going.
Yeah.
It should be fun. We're going to tune it up for you guys next week.
Aroo.
Hey, sweat.
Oh, it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Just trying to end it on a positive note, but
All right,
Okay.
that's enough.
just,
We're
All
out.
right.
See you guys.
We'll chat next week.